Let's go on to the next one. Set the bar. We set the bar a couple days ago for who was it? Michigan?
Yes.
Set the bar for Michigan. Here's how this works. We set the bar. What is the bare minimum of a success story for this program that we're going to talk about today? And that is none other than prime time. Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes. Now, here's the deal. New conference, moving from the Pac-12 to the Big 12. I would argue they have a tougher schedule despite the fact that they played more ranked opponents last year.
Right.
There's no duds on this one. Mm-hmm. If you really, really look through it, which I did today, I think I give them 3 guaranteed wins.
Yes.
Okay, and then the rest of them are like, hey, let's flip a coin today. See which of these Big 12 teams is going to win this here rock fight. Mm-hmm. I think for me, if I were to just, because of the way expectations have been managed out there, because of the way they've talked about their operation, because of the way that they've hyped up both Shadur and Travis and all the new transfers, I'm not talking about Colorado in specifically, but they are included here. But the national media as well, if they don't make a bowl, this is a drastic failure.
Yep. Literally, the only thing I have is you have to make a bowl game.
6 wins.
It doesn't matter what else you do. The media is going to do the heavy lifting everywhere else that you need publicity and things like that. Just make a bowl game. I mean, Shadur Sanders is going to have a 300-yard game some point this season, and there's going to be a discussion. Is he the best quarterback in college football? You don't have to do anything but just win 6 football games.
And it's going to happen early, too. It's very similar to their slate last year. It's North Dakota State, CSU, Cincy to open. And then after that, it's just a rancid slate for a program like Colorado at this point. Nebraska, Baylor, at UCF, K-State, at Arizona, at Texas Tech, versus Utah, at Kansas, versus Oklahoma State. I don't see a ton of like, oh, yeah, they're definitely going to win that football game. Like, if I'm going into it, it's February. But if I'm sitting here in February looking at your schedule and going, man, Baylor's going to be a 4-quarter football game, you're in deep shit. Yeah. You're in deep shit going into your season because, again, I see 3 guaranteed wins. Y'all should win those football games. You're going to be favored by a touchdown or more, and then the rest of them are toss-ups for me.
Every single one of them. It's not looking good. And again, the hype that you build around your program, and when you have Shadur coming out saying, I don't think there's a single quarterback that's better than me, I mean, you do this to yourself. So, I mean, yeah, you absolutely got to make a bowl game. You got to get to the Gasparilla Bowl or something like that. You got to get to that point at least.
Yeah, so it's three guaranteed wins, we all say. I would say there's probably 6 50-50 toss-ups, so you have to win half of your toss-ups, which, I mean, is feasible. Like, if you win half of your toss-up games, you go 3-3 there. You don't have to beat Oklahoma. You don't have to beat some of these better teams, but you have to win your toss-up games.
If Texas Tech and Baylor and like Cincy are what they were last year, you have a legitimate chance of getting to 6 wins. But like if any of those programs improve, like Texas Tech, if they're better this year, or Baylor, like they should be better under Arnett, then
Texas Tech signed more 5-stars last cycle than Colorado did. 5-star receiver out of Texas. Like, you look at they beat Nebraska last year, and they might beat Nebraska this year because Nebraska's going to start a true freshman quarterback. But we're not giving you that one. Mm-mm. You know what I mean? You might be favored by 2.5 points against Baylor, but we ain't giving you that one. UCF, okay, on the road. All right, good luck there, right? I mean, there's so many. I'm telling you right now, you're losing to K-State and Arizona.
I mean, North Dakota State, like.
Yeah, chat hit that.
They're tricky.
Head. North Dakota State gives everybody some sweats and some tight booty holes every year.
I mean, plus, like, let's consider in the fact also that what if Deion just doesn't really give a shit this season?
Oh, I think, and we talk about consistency on this program constantly. I think it's our credo. Like, I don't care. You do how you want. I don't care. Be consistent. Keep the motto. Do what you do, and make me able to justify it, particularly schematically. If I can't justify it, it doesn't matter if you're consistent. If you're consistently shitty, you're consistently shitty. But in terms of your structure, how you're going about asset acquisition, how you're going about cultural development, how you're going about in-game adjustments, if those things are consistent in your attack and they make sense, we can justify it. I think he's been very consistent on his roster acquisitions. I mean, it's been very clear we're siphoning through these as fast as possible. We're going to take as many cracks at this transfer portal as we humanly possibly can. And even when we miss, we're going to send kids packing. Hell with it. They sent that 6'8" left tackle home so goddamn fast this year. They let that dude start and play every single snap. And then this offseason, they were like, hey, buddy, you got to go. You're trash. So they siphon through these guys. They've been very consistent. Here's my problem, and I said this on Snaps today. Here's my problem with Colorado and with what Deion's got going on. If you're going to have so much turnover in your roster, you better have damn good coaching, because what you're not banking on is continuity, right? You're not banking on guys being in their second, third, fourth year in the system, being confident, having developed at your program, knowing the guy beside them. Like, continuity and comfort are not in that room or in that building anywhere. So if you're going to implement a system, or if you're going to be, technically sound, if you're going to go about playing the game of football like you're supposed to, by God, you better have elite football coaches, because Jimmy down the road's got his football player for 18 months before September rolls around. You got him for about 4, 5, maybe a year now. Like, you're at a significant disadvantage from just a proximity to your players, right? You just don't see them a lot. And let's compound this worse for Colorado. There ain't been no consistency on the staff either. They're turning that sucker over left and right. Offensive coordinator, defensive line coach, all gone. Like, this ain't one of them ones that's out here consistent on either end. And guys, that's where we have been kind of planting our flag. You better be consistent.
Right.
There ain't a lick of consistency anywhere.
I think that's why you have to be so questioning about their schedule, because like, even in some of those games where you think maybe they probably should get a win, you don't know what the roster is going to look like at all. Like, all you know is Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter are going to be playing for the Colorado Buffaloes, and Primetime is going to be the head coach. We have no idea how those 40 transfers, or however many transfers they took in this year, are going to pan out and look, and how that unit is going to look, or how the offense or defense are even going to look. So there's so many questions around the program that you have to question so many of the schedule.
Murray said today they have a really good Big 12 roster. And my only rebuttal was their really good Big 12 roster is compromised with other good Big 12 players that they have stolen. How many guys from Houston do they have on their roster? How many guys from Texas Tech do they have on their roster? How many guys from opponents that they're going to be playing did they just pluck a starter off of? And it's guys that, and it don't even have to be teams that they're playing. It's like, we grabbed a great player from Vandy. We grabbed a great player from Florida State, or a decent player from Florida State. We grabbed a good player here, good player here, good player here. You got B-plus players from B-plus programs. You might get C-plus results, right? You see what I'm saying? There's not. It's hard to assume that every single one of these new transfer players are going to perform at the rate in which they did to get to your program.
Yeah.
Like, Will Shepard's not going to have 800 yards this year, or will he? Like, I mean, is he going to be suddenly better at Colorado than he was at Vandy? I don't know. He's going to play against worse competition and have a better quarterback. So there's obvious, signs for that potentially.
20% of their incoming transfers come from other Big 12 schools.
I love having a stats guy here with me.
There you go.
That's just this cycle, too.
That's just this cycle. And then you got some Kentucky, some Alabama, some other schools.
Some Florida State.
Some LSU.
Yeah. And none of those guys starters at those programs, those big programs.
Yeah, I don't see.
Those are former 4 or 5 stars that just didn't work out at their previous home.
Yeah, like, I don't see a single name on here where I'm like, oh, I remember them.
Again, I'm fine with the strategy of rebuilding your roster that way. They were an 0-12 football program that was gutted with regards to talent. But you better be consistent in the coaching department, because you're going to have to out-coach. You have a bigger coaching job in front of you than other programs, and you put that task on yourself with your roster acquisition strategy.